This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace. You know when you're really stressed or not feeling so great about your life or about yourself? Talking to someone who understands can really help. But who is that person? How do you find them? Where do you even start? Talkspace. Talkspace makes it easy to get the support you need. With Talkspace, you can go online, answer a few questions about your preferences, and be matched with a therapist. And because you'll meet your therapist online, you don't have to take time off work or arrange childcare. You'll meet on your schedule, wherever you feel most at ease. If you're depressed, stressed, struggling with a relationship, or if you want some counseling for you and your partner, or just need a little extra one-on-one support, Talkspace is here for you. Plus, Talkspace works with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. No insurance? No problem. Now get $80 off of your first month with promo code SPACE80 when you go to Talkspace.com. Match with a licensed therapist today at Talkspace.com. Save $80 with code SPACE80 at Talkspace.com.
I guess when all of you have them.
You should always assume that it's
that's true. If everyone's feeling the same.
You should always just go to the emergency room.
Well, I mean,
every day.
Well, first you should kick each other in the genitals.
Well, yes.
That'll get rid of the headache.
And if that doesn't do it,
I heard that helps.
And then if that doesn't do it, then you should go to the hospital.
That's
fair.
when you know. Yeah.
That's true.
But I have quite
It's good medical advice.
the supply list of safety shit.
I can't wait to hear.
I have a lot.
Oh, yeah, we're going to list off more of these.
This episode is made possible by our deity, the Dark Lord himself, Jim SAMHSA, and our therapy partners, Dirty B and Tickets, from fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada. This is Pod Therapy. Real people, real problems, and real therapists. You can submit your questions anonymously at podtherapy.net.
That's a crisp one.
Or email us at podtherapyguys@gmail.com. And now broadcasting from the churn, that's Jim, that's Whitney, I'm Nick. It's time for some Pod Therapy.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back. It is an exciting new episode taped in the past because Jim's on a camp out.
They're all taped in the past.
Oh, well, okay, yeah. I guess
Another
it's relative,
one.
then, isn't it?
And actually recorded.
Yeah. So I also have
Oh, you
iodine.
don't see my tape deck over here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just running tape,
this
baby.
is tape. This is tape.
They're always on
I got
tape.
my reel-to-reel back here.
Yeah.
We're going to town.
Yeah.
Recording this into a wax cylinder.
That's how we throw back. I have iodine tablets in case of radiation.
What?
In case there's a nuclear attack. Okay. So you need those.
What are you going to do with those?
You eat them, I think. I don't know. I'll read the package. I'll read the package if
I've
needed.
heard of people using iodine
Something
to purify
about your
water.
Yeah, you can do that too.
Okay, so this is...
but mine's not for that. Mine's for radiation.
This is
the...
This
These
totally,
are spoken for a different purpose. Don't you fucking
this is
purify
how
your water
Jim-
with them.
This is how Jim works and how he operates for emergency situations.
Yeah.
He will not do anything 100%. He does like 89%.
No.
So what that means
just
is...
enough to be annoying.
Yeah, no, he buys it.
Yeah.
He stores it.
Yeah.
He's ready.
Yeah.
Will he read the instructions how to use it? No, he's going to wait until the emergency.
I'll
Keeps
Yeah.
it
and then
exciting.
figure it out.
Keeps it
I
exciting.
have a book. I have a book about how to survive the apocalypse, which is safely stowed away in my apocalypse gear, and I'll read it when it's necessary. I'm not going to fuck around with it now.
I
Right?
want to see Jim in
I have
the
a crank
apocalypse.
flashlight, and I'll use that to read the book. It'll be fine.
You have a crank flashlight. You have this book. You have some iodine tablets.
He's gonna do great.
I have two Mr. Blobs.
So what? For everyone who
He has
isn't
a
on the
gun.
Patreon, this is Jim's emergency preparedness kit
Oh, that ain't even the fucking
that
beginning
he has
of
at his house.
You guys don't
Go
even know.
on.
Well, you have a Mr. Blob?
Two Mr. Blobs.
What's a Mr. Blob?
A Mr. Blob is a giant fucking bag that comes in a box. It's a very small box. And then you whenever you find out that there's an emergency, you run up and you slap it onto your bathtub. And then you crank the bathtub water, and it fills up the whole bathtub. And then you tie it off, and then it's got a little valve on it that you can squirt water out of this giant blob of water that you've saved up, of clean water, as needed.
Of course, the other thing you can do is just stop up the bathtub.
Yeah.
And fill up the bathtub.
But that doesn't have a valve. Got to have that Mr. Blob valve. It's pretty cool. So I like that. I have. Because
we used to do that for hurricanes. You'd fill up the bathtub.
Yeah.
And but yeah, you just go over with like a pitcher and dunk the pitcher in there, and then you had a pitcher of water.
Well, this one
Very
has a
innovative,
cool fucking
Jacob.
thing
Yeah.
that you can buy.
Out of all the things that were mentioned earlier, I thought, well, blankets exist, and all these other things.
Just use those.
Like you're literally putting a water storage device into a water storage device at this point.
I got
the hat on a hat, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
I don't know. I'm on Jim's side on this one because
The valve is useful. Yeah.
not the valve.
Okay.
Like I'm not drinking out of my bathtub.
That is
Good
weird.
point.
That's where I went. I
When was
was like,
it last
disgusting.
clean? Not a problem.
in
We got
an
Mr. Block.
apocalypse, I don't think I'd
I feel
care.
like this
but
is just an extra incentive to keep your bathtubs clean.
All right.
You dirty motherfuckers.
Yeah, you don't want to ring around
Dude,
the bathtub. You might need it.
I rent. There is no getting that tub. I inherited that dirt.
That's true. All right, maybe you get a Mr. Blob.
yeah.
Mr. Blob.
Mr. Blob.
Very cheap move on that part.
You really have one of those.
Oh, fuck, 2 of them. Yeah, they're great. And
Do you have 2 bathtubs?
yes.
Okay.
And then, do you remember when Putin invaded Ukraine a while back? I think that's still
I
might be
vaguely
going on.
remember that, yeah.
I was really
Haven't heard much
scared of
about
nuclear war, and so I bought a lead-lined dentist jacket that you use to get X-rays
For what?
in
Okay.
case there's a nuke.
Yes, but what about your head?
What you
Well,
could like?
what's your
wrap
plan
it
with
around?
this thing? What are you going to do with this thing?
Is there one
I'll
for all
wear like
your
a
children?
helmet or something.
At least my nipples are nice and safe.
Well, I don't know. They say you're supposed to protect the organs. I bought it the same day I bought the iodine
Your
tablets.
children definitely have outgrown
Oh, and I also
theirs.
have a radioactive detector thing. I have a thingy that detects how much radiation is happening.
So then you
But
know
it's only
how fucked you
one-time
are.
use, so you have to be pretty sure that there's radiation.
It's always good to know how fucked you are.
Yeah.
Why get a one?
I only have one of them, and it's a one-time use.
Do you have a
And So
water-
you have to be pretty sure that there's radiation, and then want to know.
Do you have
And
like
then-
a water filtration, like little?
Oh, tons of those.
Straw
like the
thing
sticks, yeah,
or
the
whatever.
straws and testing
Oh, yeah, yeah.
strips, and
Oh,
yeah, I got all that shit.
You can get a
Freeze-dried
nuclear
food.
radiation detector that's reusable.
Oh, that's a good idea.
$100 on Amazon.
That's a lot. See, I don't like to spend
Yeah.
too much, except
Jacob's
for that
trying to
X-ray
say
jacket.
bucks
I
to
spent
make
some
it
money on
sound
that.
cheap.
we completely forgot to come back to this. You're going scouting.
Yeah,
Oh.
Death Valley.
At Death
Yeah.
Valley for how many days?
This is a long weekend, so this is a 2-3 day trip.
You probably need the
Okay.
lead vest.
You're not
So,
wrong, just in
yes.
case.
You
should
probably
probably-
carry that.
Probably
Probably bring
that.
enough for everybody.
Yeah, no, that's expensive. Hey, I had to go through a manufacturer to get the shit. Like, they don't just sell those.
Remember when Jim
Like to
took
pretend to be a
all the
dentist.
gallons of water on that
Yes.
other hike
Oh, yeah, and saved everybody's fucking life. That's what happened.
and returned with how many gallons of water?
0. We drank them all.
Uh-huh.
We used all the water.
But we need to do our usual bet amongst the three of us on what day he's going to be drinking his urine.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you can't count on the way up there, right?
Day 0.5.
Yeah.
And I'll have a McDouble and, you know what? Piss in a cup.
And I like it just because he likes the way it tastes.
Want anything to drink with that? No, I'm good.
Yeah, I'll take a
Come on.
McPiss, please. McUrine. Can we restart the show? Is it too late for that?
Probably healthier than whatever they have at McDonald's anyway.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, probably. Anyway, welcome back to another exciting episode of Pod Therapy. We've got some lovely questions as we are all collectively watching the Vikings lose as well.
A few weeks
Nick's
ago.
in a better mood.
in the
Yeah,
past.
that's because I'm not a Vikings fan.
Yeah,
Oh.
he's just
What's
like,
the one you did? Oh, I was like, what was
Yeah,
that?
just,
if you've already
Newly.
died inside,
He's newly not a
nobody
Vikings
can
fan.
hurt you.
yeah, exactly.
That is one way
Recently,
to
not a
survive.
Vikings fan.
That's fair.
Yep.
Many ways to get through. Anyway, first question leading off the order today is I want 10 inches in my mouth. Oh, God. Leaving the family company. Hi, friends. I'm a 32-year-old and am currently the co-owner of a construction business with my father. When I moved back home after college, this job was supposed to be temporary, but here we are 9 years later. I now handle all the accounting, payroll, HR, and estimate 80% of our new projects. My dad has told me for the past 2 years that we would keep the company running as long as it is what I wanted. He's at retirement age, so it made sense. My mom has always said she didn't think I was completely happy working here and that I should do what makes me happy. A couple of months ago, my girlfriend and I started talking about moving across the country and have made the decision that, barring any major changes, we will be moving in October. When I told my dad this and that I might want to sell or close the company, he said he needed time to think on it. Next time I saw him, he said there's no way he's doing either, as he and my mom need the income and insurance. My mom said that yes, she did want me to do what would make me happy, she just never thought it meant moving away, and now she's upset. I've been in therapy long enough to know that I can't take their emotions on, and that I need to do what's best for me. The bigger issue is that with me leaving, I don't see how my dad can continue to run the company on his own. I've spent the last several years digitizing much of our work and processes and setting up auto pay and e-statements for bills. He's not great at computers and struggles on a daily basis. He would also have to learn a new accounting system than what he used to use, and refuses to hire an accountant as he is worried they will steal money from him. I worry that if I move and the company doesn't succeed, I'll put all the blame on myself. He insists that he will get by just fine without me after some initial hardships, but I'm still concerned. I have the option of working remote, but I'm not entirely sure that's what I want. I feel like I'm just leaving my parents high and dry for choosing to leave after everything they've done for me. I'm finding it very hard to justify my wanting to leave when it could mean they might struggle for years. It's a little rambly, but I hope this all makes sense. Thanks for any help you can offer, Anonymous.
Oh, that's tough.
Yeah, that's a really tough situation.
It sounds like you really care about your parents and their well-being, and
you got to find a buyer that'll keep them on and keep their insurance.
Yeah.
Keep them on as in an advisory capacity or something.
Sometimes you can sell to a younger up and coming kind of person, and then part of the deal is you pay them out over time. So you don't have to come in with one lump sum. You can buy out the company and pay out the owners over 10 years or something like that. But then there's a lot of risk to the owners if this person doesn't succeed.
All right. Well, I hope that answered your question.
Good luck.
Great.
Yeah. Ruin your parents.
I know. Man, guilt around feeling like you're leaving your parents high and dry. Do y'all have, just thoughts on that? I think that's so common. I was actually just talking to a friends who are staying with us this week about them having a struggle in their romantic relationship because they're an only child, and their parent, which is even harder if you're an only child. And one of his parents is in cognitive decline. So then the wife's like, oh, you're putting them before me. There's a lot to it when it's when you're pulled a lot of different ways. Like the writers pulled between my girlfriend and I, we want to start maybe this new life somewhere else and see what's out there. I've spent 9 years longer than I thought.
Circumstances too.
Kind of by yeah.
And it's really rough because nobody's bad in this situation. Your parents built something. It generates money. We shouldn't.
Everyone's feelings are entitled. Everyone's entitled to those feelings, and
except the
everybody's
girlfriend.
justified.
She kind of sounds like a bitch. I'm not on her team on this. Not at all. Selfish, really.
Thanks for writing in, and thanks for being a listener, Ryder.
Please don't give up.
Patreon.com/therapy.
Hopefully your girlfriend does a little.
I think this is. I see this a lot in the Midwest. A good friend of mine. His dad had a century farm. So that's a farm that's been in the family for over 100 years.
Jeez.
Wow.
And they're very rare anymore.
Bigger farm companies come in and buy out those smaller ones.
They'll buy up the land.
And that's kind of how it is in the Midwest now. It's you can't, if you want to get into farming, and you can't do it because it's all corporately owned, which is my theory what's going to be happening with homes.
Yes.
Homes are going to become corporately owned, and we're all going to have to pay
company store.
Rent.
That's what's happening here in Nevada, man.
Yeah.
Yes.
25% of all the housing inventory is now owned by venture capital companies. They're just renting it out.
It's a problem.
And then they're controlling the value, right? Because you'd think, then the average
if you control 25% of the market,
you now control the market.
Set the price.
You are a monopoly at that point.
It's
so
terrible.
They're trying to pass laws and deal with that. That's a big problem here. That doesn't have anything to do with this writer.
Thanks for writing in.
But so my friend was in this situation, and his parents, they just always assumed he was the only son.
You'll take it over.
And they just assumed, he's going to take over the farm.
Right.
And this will be his now.
And that way 100 years.
Yeah, and then we keep it in the farm. And it was a difficult conversation where he just had to hey, look, I'm not a farmer.
I can think of no more disappointing thing for an Iowa family. Your son could come to you and be like, I am absolutely gay, but I want a farm. They'd be like, great. We love you.
Yeah.
It's possible that Nick still
you
hasn't
and your
told his
roommate are
parents
welcome
that
to
he's not a
stay on
gay
the farm.
atheist.
You and your roommate.
You and your roommate can work the farm together, and you can burn crosses in the yard. We don't care. But you work the fucking farm.
Yeah.
What do you think gay people do, Jim?
I said he's a gay atheist. You were talking. You didn't hear the rest of my bit.
What do you think atheists do?
Burn crosses.
There is a group who is known for burning crosses, and it's not either of them.
I don't know. I'm just saying, the Iowa farmers. But no, it's tough whenever you have that destiny picked out for you. And then, I get it. I mean, so my family had a little family business. It was a retail shop. and they had stores, in malls and stuff like that. And when I was a teenager, like there was that angle of like, hey, this thing's doing pretty good, like, would you want to like have this? But it's like, you guys aren't 90, like you're not going to hand this to me when I'm 20. Like I'm going to end up just working this place, kind of like the writer. Mm-hmm. And like, maybe that is unsatisfying. And maybe I want to try a different trade and find a profession. And I remember feeling itchy about that. And then like feeling that sense of like, I don't want to let you guys down. But it's also tough, writer, because look, they are responsible for their own retirement.
Yes.
Like if your dad was just a CPA and he's like out, he's getting to the end of his time of years that he can work, then what is his plan?
Yeah.
Like that's it. They have to have some kind of plan.
I see sometimes with older people too, they'll be like, well, I can't sell the business because then it's not enough in insurance. And sometimes I think they jump to that, but that's not really true. Now, in today's economy, it might be true because it's tough out there. But just relatives of mine, like aunts, uncles, whatever, they're like, I can't retire and whatever. But if you actually look at their finances, it's kind of like an internal fear that's not actually accurate. Like you actually probably could. And I'm not saying that's the case here, but I'm saying maybe if your parents will take a look at some of that more in depth with you, or maybe you already have with them, take some time to kind of explore that and push them to share with you, like, hey, what is your financial situation? I think that's great for parents to do anyway with adult kids if they're nearing retirement age. Just because if you're expected to not help them, but, figure out their finances and things in retirement, that's kind of an important topic to discuss. Yeah. But adding this business aspect and you helping or not helping, I think that would be important to know for you to make your decision as well. Because if they really do spiral into the drain, like, what does their retirement look like? Right. I don't know. Is that living with you then?
Well, and it sounds like dad is prepared to like resume the job because son, the writer, doesn't do the actual construction. Son just operates, right? Is doing the HR, is doing the admin, the money. And I look at that writer and I think, okay, you can do some of that remotely, but you mentioned I don't want to do that forever. I wonder if there's a weaning down solution here where writer gets to go ahead and follow his heart, go where he needs to go with his, girlfriend who I think we all disapprove of. But, that's a different thing.
Speaking of weaning down.
I'll fix that corn dog.
I'll just be over here.
You get a Modelo in him and you don't know where he's going.
Jacob is making up for last night. He's on fire.
But no, like I can see a solution where you get to travel and then you remote operate some of these things. And maybe you can do that for a while because you're going to be trying to find your own gig and keep some money flowing in. So maybe we do that and we have like a 1 year or 6 month timeline where we go, okay, Dad, I'm going to take control of this. And one by one, I'm going to remote teach you the easiest component, right? Like first, we're going to learn how to answer email, and then second, I'm going to teach you how I send bids on jobs or bill people. Here's how I invoice people to pay their bills or whatever. And like ultimately, I think everything is learnable, even if you're a person that's like, not in touch with technology, everything can be learned. And honestly, if there's money in the bank to pay you, there's money in the bank to pay an administrative assistant. Mm-hmm. Like if dad's afraid that like a CPA will like rob him or a bookkeeper, fine. Make that one job yours and then give everything else to like an office assistant
that checks
These
in
are
with you.
All
maybe.
People that could be hired. All the other administrative stuff could be hired, and you could remote supervise that person for a while.
I mean, but here's the other thing too, though. The writer may not want to do that, and like this is the thing where it's like it sucks because. What is the writer's obligation to continue to do this? If this were any other job, he could put in his notice and he could just say, I'm done. And you can move on.
Good point.
And it's kind of an unfair situation that like you have to do this and you have to, and if you don't, then you're going to feel guilty about it.
Right.
Like it's kind of an unfair situation that the writer is stuck in.
Yeah.
And, but then on the other hand too, it's from the dad's perspective, he's probably thinking like, you completely kicked my plans in the dick. We had this all worked out.
I built this for you.
Yeah. And part of that, is probably, it might be mom and dad's fault for just assuming that this is what's going to happen.
Right.
But they were obviously under this assumption for a long time. Here's the good news is it sounds like they accept it.
That's what I was going to say. The dad was like, I'll be okay. We'll be okay.
They're coming around to
I like
it.
that.
They're trying to reassure him, I think.
Yeah.
That's definitely reassuring because that means we're not going to destroy the relationship.
Right.
Yeah.
They're just having a difficult time accepting this, and I think from the writer's perspective, you're just going to have to be patient with them. But I always also empathize with the writer. Like, if you don't want to be in that industry and this isn't what you want to do and you want to move on with your life, like, why should I have to put my life on hold for another 5 years?
Right.
Because of this situation that I'm in, when I could jump out and I could do the thing that I want to do. I can open the donut stand that I've been dreaming about forever, or whatever your dreams are. But, like, you could do that.
Yeah.
And I don't think you need to feel guilty about that. I think I do agree with Jim in the sense that, like, if the business can afford to pay you, they can afford to pay somebody else.
Right.
And I think maybe that's the direction.
There's a way to take a harm reduction approach because writers' hang up is I don't want to wound or harm or cause any discomfort for my parents. I don't want to create any opportunity for failure. And I'm scared for them because I've taken on all this stuff and I didn't mind doing extra work. I didn't mind solving problems because it was the family business. Any pressure I took off of this thing was pressure my parents didn't have to feel. So as you transition it back to them under their control, I think you could absolutely be training somebody and like do a harm reduction approach, wean them down. And then maybe that salves your guilt and gives you that like on ramp into the next step of life. Maybe there is a middle ground, but writer, I agree with Nick. I don't want you to feel trapped by this. And sometimes there's this problem of like golden handcuffs with family companies where it's like, look, kid, I spent 40 years building something that like grosses $1 million a year and can pay you 6 figures and like,
if that's the case, stay with that job.
Well, I think I've seen a lot of people deal with that.
I feel like that's what this job is.
If that's the case, don't leave that and become a therapist. If that's what you're thinking about doing.
Don't do that.
I was going to joke earlier. You can do anything. You're like, open a donut shop. I'm like, or become a therapist, as Nick would say.
Don't do that.
No,
but like,
open a donut shop first.
Yeah, definitely donut. It's pretty much the same thing anyway. But no, I've seen situations where there's a family business and the kid will look at this and like I had friends in college that it was like, for them to get a degree that would pay them what the family business would pay them as a partial owner, they would be in school forever, right? It was going to have to be a law degree or something like that. And so they can do really well. And the family's like trying to tell them like, look, you could be, get way ahead at this phase of life and like inherit this and blah, blah, blah. And then just like put us out to pasture and just make sure that, our bills are paid and we don't go on fancy vacations or anything. Like we'd be happy that all the money funnels to you and your little kids and all that stuff. And it's tough sometimes because you look at it and go, even if I'm not asking this question of what am I passionate about, I'm asking this question of like, what is going to be most prosperous for me? And a lot of times a family business is a tempting opportunity. I don't hear a writer necessarily anguishing over that, but I get it. I think that that's part of it for a lot of people.
I was going to say also, if you do decide to move away and release some of that input on the business, if your dad reverts back to some of his old ways, you kind of need to let that go.
He may just go back to what he knows.
He may go back to doing what he did before. And
Paper
maybe,
receipts. Yeah,
that's what I said. I don't believe with Jim's answer over there was like teaching some people new technology and everything. It's just not. You can't do it.
Not going to happen.
Yeah.
If they aren't already into it,
that's it. Like if he didn't want to make that change, he's not going to make that change.
Yeah, well, you're there, but I don't know. He's kind of been enabled maybe by his son being there. But I do agree it would be really difficult, and he probably will pull in some old habits that he feels comfortable with. But like that's okay.
And reinstall that rotary dial phone in the office.
Yeah, it's got 2 lines.
Yeah, and you're right. He might go back to what he knows and run it his way, and try to eke another 10 years out of that. And then they'll make a plan for transition or sale.
Even if he makes less doing that, if he's not paying you and he's doing something, it's probably fine.
I think we're missing the obvious solution.
Oh, no.
Have another
Stay
son.
on board, sabotage the business.
Oh.
Drive it into the ground.
That's not a problem.
I'm listening.
Yep, problem over.
Guys, if
Problem
this thing's
solved.
failing, I feel like I need to salt the earth. All of our construction projects explode. It's so weird.
There's no more customers.
What lumber are you using, Dad?
No more lumber, only dynamite. That's what we're doing.
We're in the dynamite biz.
I just keep getting sued into oblivion, man.
Soak everything in kerosene.
Oh, Ryder, good luck with this. I mean, it is a tough one, but I think we're all in agreement. We're validating. We hope that you will feel the freedom to make this life choice. I also think that a lot of people will feel like it's the road they didn't get to try, right? Like, it's what was that movie? It's a Wonderful Life, where he, thought about going and playing football and like living it up, and he ends up like just working at the bank and kind of taking on the family business, or I think it was family business, but like that kind of thing.
The old building and loan.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh yeah,
there it is. And so I get that idea of like you've got to try, you've got to live your life.
Say that again, but in your best Jimmy Stewart impression.
I knew Nick.
I remember little lines that are like,
alone.
"But Mr. Tangeman, I don't have your money. Oh, it's in Whitney's house, not in
Mr.
yours.
Potter.
It's not just in the vault. I can't just go back there and get it. This is not how it works."
Mr. Potter. He's the evil one.
Yeah, that movie was way too long. Like,
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I thought I mapped this last time I watched it. Like, Clarence the angel shows up for 13 minutes of that whole fucking movie.
Oh my god!
And it's like a 5-hour movie, I want to say. 5.5?
Yeah.
Ish.
Yeah.
It's right there.
Give or take.
Yeah. Anyway, this is basically It's a Wonderful Life, Ryder. And I feel like you will be happier if you go play pro football and live your dream.
That's
just
what I
as
take
George
away
was.
from that.
That's what I took
Yeah.
away. Dude hated his life.
George are great.
reason.
Georgie.
Yeah, Ryder, I think, I know you're going to have a little bit of guilt over this, and I think that's inevitable. You're going to experience that, but you don't have to.
Yeah.
If I'm the only one that says this, and this is the only person that you hear this from, I give you permission to not feel guilty about wanting to move forward with your life and do something different.
There you go.
Just be patient with your parents and say hi to that lovely girlfriend of yours.
Yeah,
We're
little
sure
sweetheart.
that she is wonderful and amazing, even though Jim hates the world.
I'm not sure. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Could you do better, Ryder? Ask yourself that
YOLO,
question.
you only live once.
Leave the business, leave the bitch. Go start your own life.
Jesus
We're going to take a
Christ.
quick break, and when we I think I'm just projecting. Do you think that's what this is?
I think so. I think we need to.
Go fucking live on the beach.
This is exactly what I think happens, because this is anytime anybody writes in should I follow my dreams or follow my money, the three of you are always follow your dreams, and I'm follow the fucking money.
Go get money.
I think this
It's
is
like
You
don't.
start talking about the Las Vegas housing market for some reason.
yeah.
It seems to come up
Well,
in every answer.
if you had the money, you wouldn't have to
Yeah.
worry about the housing
Exactly.
market.
problem. All right, we are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're talking about, am I the asshole for rejecting an older man? Yes, you're listening to Pod Therapy.
No.
Never say no.
Today's episode is brought to you by Judy Schneider, Leon Kassab, Carolyn Albert. Kassab.
Nailed it.
Yeah. Turns out, I'm pretty sure I've been pronouncing that wrong for 8 years.
Oh, no.
Well,
Nick
we've only met
pronouncing
him in
something.
person twice, so
You
good.
already said Jim's fascia earlier.
fascia.
It's
This is
fascia.
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 Yeah,
It's
I-
fascia.
Fasciitis.
Whatever. Carolyn Albert, Sammy Scoop, Sarah Smith, Mike Helm, Darren Cunningham, Matt and Lisa Tangeman. I know I'm pronouncing that one right. And Cody the DeLorean Guy. If you would like to sponsor the show, become a therapy producer at patreon.com/therapy. All right. We do have more of that Pixar thing. Hold on.
I even won.
By a lot.
However, Emma just put this new one together, and I can't resist.
Great.
Oh, okay.
So we're gonna.
I think we can throw the Pixar one away.
We may come back to
back
it.
to it.
At a moment of desperation.
Yeah.
We never throw
Which is-
anything away at Pod Therapy.
Which is how I do all of the trivia.
That's right.
Is in a moment of desperation.
Yeah.
Famous therapists in pop culture.
Oh, okay.
Trivia about TV or movie therapists.
Like
This
Dr. Phil.
sounds good. Well,
Okay.
don't give away all the answers.
That's
didn't
right,
know
Whitney.
that. Well, who raised you?
Don't you give away that answer, Whitney.
Raised you. All right, Whitney, you're up first.
Yay.
What type of doctor is Dr. Jennifer Melfi, who serves as Tony Soprano's therapist?
Oh, yeah.
And I haven't seen that
Sopranos.
show.
Yeah. What?
I haven't seen
May
it
I
either.
recommend The Sopranos?
No,
wanna go-
because you haven't either.
Putting
right?
the MILF
seen
Yeah.
in MILF.
Only season 1.
Okay, options.
Okay. Psychiatrist, psychologist, social worker, or life coach?
Psychiatrist
Yeah.
is my guess.
You are correct.
I think she prescribes, yeah.
She does. She writes some Xanax. It's psychiatrist.
Yes, it is.
Great radio.
Yay! I just feel like in
Your
movies
father's
it's
dick
always
has been in me. Yeah.
yeah, that one.
Jim,
I'll take it.
in Disney's Frozen 2, Olaf humorously pretends to be a therapist. What therapy advice does he jokingly give Anna and Elsa?
Oh God, I
You
need
got the
options.
Disney one.
Frozen 2 sucked.
Yeah, I don't
That
even
is
hardly remember
So
it.
disappointing. Terrible movie.
Okay, you want options?
I need options.
Let it go. Control your chaos. Stop holding back your feelings. I can see you're in pain. Let's address it.
Oh, the fact that they didn't dress the snowman up as Sigmund Freud and have him make a joke about the mom is just, come on.
Oh,
Just
touche.
malpractice.
Write better.
Yeah.
Write a better movie.
Be
Negligence.
better.
Like all you had, you
Just
needed little
Low-hanging
glasses,
fruit.
a little goatee,
Negligence.
a tweed jacket with elbow
There it
patches.
is.
It's for the adults.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give them
And then you
one.
say
Yeah.
something about the other person's mother. Bam, you've got a Sigmund Freud joke. Moving on.
I'm going to go with D, the one about something
You
about your
always do.
pain, but never, not just whatever. Let's address it.
I can see you're in pain. Let's address it. Correct.
Oh, nice.
Sounded like an Olaf thing.
Yeah.
All right, Jacob. In Big Mouth, which character serves as the anthropomorphic embodiment
Good job.
of anxiety?
I like it when they give him big words.
That show's actually pretty good.
I've never seen it.
Oh my gosh, it's funny.
It's a good one.
Is that the one with it's
Nick
Nick
Kroll.
Kroll?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shit. I'm gonna know it when you say it. All right, give them to me.
The Depression Kitty, the Shame Wizard, Tito the Anxiety Mosquito, or the Hormone Monster.
Wait, what was the
Yeah,
the question again?
Which character serves as the anthropomorphic embodiment of anxiety?
I believe it's the mosquito.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. There's also a depression kitty.
I was gonna say the
There's a
depression
hormone
kitty.
monster.
I know.
think all
and
those
there-
are characters.
Okay, I was like,
Okay.
What
I
was
know
the second
hormone-
one? What was the second option?
The Shame Wizard.
I think that's in there
Okay.
too.
The
Ooh.
Shame Wizard.
That would have been a hard one.
That sounds great.
Which TV therapist often greets their patients with "What's your damage?" This one's mine. What's your damage? Well, I already have the options in front of me. So, Bob Newhart, Dr. Sean McGuire from Goodwill Hunting.
We just talked about Bob Newhart on the last episode.
We did.
did.
Fraser Crane or Sidney Freeman from MASH. It's got to be Sidney
Sydney.
Freeman.
Oh, gotta be.
Yeah.
Because, I've ruled out the rest of
Yeah.
them.
love
No, it's
Frasier.
Bob Newhart. I don't remember that.
So,
I knew it
what's your
wasn't
damage?
Frasier.
what's your damage?
Since the last episode, I have not yet started watching the Newhart show.
Yeah.
What's taking
Shame
so
on
Planning
you.
long?
on. Yeah.
You said you would.
Jim didn't get any more of his list done. I didn't get any of my list
No
done.
integrity, the two of us. Just not believable. I believe that Fraser Crane says, I
loved
you're
Frasier.
listening
I'm
to
listening.
Dr. Fraser Crane. I'm listening.
I'm listening.
It's a great bit.
Yep.
I like it. If we ever go to a live call-in format, I think that's what we should do.
Just completely
steal.
rip off another.
Yes,
Sure.
I'm not above it. It's fine. Who cares? Not like they're going to sue us. Next question. Am I the asshole for rejecting an older man? Hello, friends. I am a 24-year-old female, and
All
I
right.
met a 37-year-old non-binary person online, and we clicked on so many levels and have been in the talking stage for 5 months now. I know I'm not that young, but I'm at a transitional phase in my life right now. I lived life dealing with undiagnosed ADHD until my late teen years. Due to that, I tend to feel like I'm a bit behind when it comes to being mature and communicating and understanding and even relating to people my age. I'm in my last semester of university, still in my parents' house, learning how to drive. Just began making progress.
Don't do that in the
therapy.
house.
Yeah, definitely.
That's
Take
just a
that
free
outside.
tip.
Yeah,
First
outside.
rule of advice.
Yeah. And basically, I'm just barely starting to figure adulthood out. On the other hand, the person I'm talking to, although not very old, has a stable job, went through dozens of relationships, traveled the world, and lives on their own. Oh, and they're famous on social media. So it's not like they're deprived of options. I get that we clicked and everything, but the 12-plus year age gap and the difference in our lives and maturity levels creeps me out. I don't understand why they would be attracted to me when I'm obviously naive and easily impressionable for someone their age. Am I weird in refusing to grow up for thinking that, or is it actually a bit unsettling? P.S. English is not my first language. Sorry if some parts sounded weird. Anonymous.
No, you nailed it.
Yeah, very good. Yeah.
I don't think it's either of those things. I don't think it's bad that you don't want to date this person. but I don't find it unsettling either.
Well, here's the thing. A couple things. I was going to say you're not the asshole, but if you say 37 is old, then yes, you are.
Yeah, asshole.
I was like, that's very old.
Yeah.
But the writer does clarify, although not very old. So thank you.
Thank you.
We all appreciate that very much.
Not me. I'm very young.
Yes. Clearly.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. No, I think if you are saying that you want to end this relationship or not pursue, I guess maybe that's a better way to say it. If you want to not pursue this relationship because you don't understand why he's attracted to you, then I think there's some other issues. You know, I think maybe we need to have maybe a talk about self-esteem and get to a point where you can kind of feel better about yourself and realize that he's attracted to something. You must be a catch.
Yeah.
You know? Now, if you want to not pursue this because you feel like that's too big of an age gap, I don't think that makes you an asshole either.
Yeah.
I think that's perfectly fine, you know, and obviously it's unfortunate we can't control how old we are, but like if that's a deal for you, then that's a deal.
But also, like, if she was feeling this so much, like there is a level of feeling that the writer could have that the age just wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
Right.
And you wouldn't be asking this question.
Yeah.
The fact that you're asking this question kind of points us in the direction of like, maybe you're not all that interested in pursuing this relationship.
And I think Ryder's emotional age might be younger than 24 because Ryder's sort of saying like, I get it. I'm in my mid-20s. I don't feel like I am. I'm learning how to drive.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I'm just starting to get the hang of adulthood. Meanwhile, this person that's interested in me has traveled the world and I can understand that. Like I can see you being like intimidated from the sense of like, you seem like a veteran of the world, experienced, and maybe I'm not looking for somebody to take care of me and mentor me like that. And maybe I still have like a youthful vigor and naivety, and I want to find somebody that's like discovering the world too, and not always like I told you so.
So that is actually an interesting question because so I've been doing the Get to Know a Therapy Producer series.
Good series.
And I've been using the book. What is the question?
The Bible.
Yeah, whatever. But it's the Book of Questions.
Yes.
By Dr. Gregory Stock. And one of the questions in there was a really thought-provoking question about if you were going on vacation, would you like, and it's someplace new to you, someplace foreign, would you like to be going with someone who's already been there and is experienced and can show you around, or would you rather go with someone who's experiencing it for the first time like you are?
All right, go around the room. What is your answer to that?
I think for me, experiencing it the same way.
Yeah, first time? Me too. Yeah.
Oh, I
don't want you to be like, oh, let me go show you this thing. Yeah, it was pretty cool the first time I saw it too. Like, fuck you. Like, just be amazed with me that this tower is leaning
I'm
over.
It's because I want to be that person. That's what and if I can't be that person,
I can't be pretentious if you're being pretentious.
Yeah, exactly.
Got it.
No, I've actually said before, and I don't know if this is exactly what that question's asking, but I love the idea of going somewhere where there's someone who's local or who's lived there, like that can show me things that I wouldn't know to go see. I guess so.
You don't mind having a bit of a guide.
A guide, yeah, to show me unique things. So I guess if I was like, going to Rome, and they're like, oh, here's the Colosseum, I've seen that, or I've seen this, like that is.
I like that you guys are all assuming that the person you're singing with is just going to be an asshole about it.
I think so.
I mean, I've seen that.
Yeah.
Oh, this was fun when I was there last time.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I said when I
That
went.
place makes pasta. It's very famous, but it's just okay. Let's keep walking.
Yeah, but if like, you're going to watch a movie with somebody, you want to watch it together for the first time. Like, you don't want them to already know what happened.
Yeah.
This part's coming up really cool.
Oh, that.
You're going to see this part.
That.
Watch this part.
That's
I feel like
fair.
Jim definitely
Movies
does
are
that.
different.
No. I'll tell you what happens in the
I feel like
Jobin
Jim
fucking house.
definitely does
We have
that.
to pause the goddamn movie every 30 seconds because my wife has questions. And so we just got to stop saying, hey, who is that guy? I'm like, it's his son. It was in the last scene. But why is he running? Let's find out. I don't know. I didn't get an advanced copy of the plot. Like, let's fucking learn it
Why
together.
is he running?
I don't know.
Who's in the dark over
He
there?
seems really scared. He does. He does seem really scared. I'll bet you there's something bad about to happen. And we can't get through 5 fucking minutes of any movie. Like every scene. We got to pause this shit so she can just
Every
pepper
week,
me
I'm
with
amazed that
questions.
Jim is still married.
I know.
20 years almost. Just to spend my hell. Oh, and the best
She got
fucking
him
part.
young. She got him young.
Here's the best fucking part. Not only does she ask questions about every fucking movie, she asks questions about movies she has already seen.
That's fair.
And she forgot.
Yep.
So like
I
we're
forget
watching
movies
Lincoln,
that I've watched.
and she's like, "Oh my god, you know,
comfort here.
is this the part where Lincoln gets shot?" Or something? I'm like, first off, you've seen the movie.
Yeah.
Second,
And-
you know history.
And there's an hour and 30 minutes left in this thing. So-
This is the part where he's hanging out. You know, it's him and Mary Todd. You know, pretty sure they're not watching a play right now, babe. I think you could safely get off the edge of your seat. He might free some slaves first. Let's just hang out and see what happens. Anyway,
No.
This is former Dr. Jim Jobin.
now single and ready to mingle.
If you need a safe space, I want you to come to my home. I have a king-size bed. There's plenty of room for you.
Nobody else in that house.
Come on in.
It's all for you.
No, movies are different. I want that to be new with everyone.
Right.
I think. Or I don't know. But yeah, going somewhere, I kind of like to have a guide or someone who's been there. I've had really good experiences with that. And going together for the first time is great. That's fine. But yeah, I prefer that.
So, okay.
Jacob?
I like exploring. So I think I like discovering things kind of together.
Yeah.
I like when SJ and
I'm
I
a loner.
go places. Sometimes we'll even get like a guidebook or something like that before we go somewhere, and
Okay.
so we'll make kind of a loose plan. But yeah,
We have Rick Steves. Anytime we go on vacation, it's Laura,
Bring this
myself,
guy
and
with
Rick
him?
Steves.
Bring
Yeah.
it back.
Yeah.
He's with us in spirit.
Yeah.
We love Rick Steves.
Oh my gosh.
He's the greatest.
When
if
I-
I had a hero,
That's Rick.
When
It's
we
Rick
were
Steves.
in Italy staying at an Airbnb, they had a Rick Steves travel book from 2007. And I was like, I got to look through this to see if anything's changed or any of the things in different places, like some of the art pieces, are they in different museums or galleries, or like, I wonder if that hotel even still exists. Like, I don't know.
there was
It very
one
fun.
the first time we went to Hawaii. She found this book, and I mean, it had shit like drive down this road until you
200
get to
meters.
mile marker 34. Park on the right-hand side of the road
Oh, hell
and walk
yes.
roughly 500 feet into the woods, and you'll find this waterfall.
and
I'm
you'll
good
see
with
a
that.
rock
I'm
that
good with
has
that.
no business being there.
Yeah, pretty much.
And under that rock will be.
Like,
A bunker.
Go to
going
this
through
church
book,
and take off the
first
leg
of
in
all,
the first pew.
It was 100% like straight on balls accurate.
Wow.
Like everything that it told us, we were like, this is not going to be a thing. And like this is describing a roadside fruit stand.
Yeah.
Oh, there it
Wow.
is.
Still there. That's funny.
That's amazing.
So yeah, I can see the logic of the writer saying, I don't know that I want to be with somebody who has all this life experience.
Yeah.
And age, and I kind of hear the writer almost saying, like, age be damned. Like, I'm not saying this other person is numerically that old. I'm not saying I am numerically that young.
Yeah,
I'm
but you had
saying
different
that
life experiences.
emotional age, I feel inexperienced. I'm discovering everything, and this other person is not. But I can also appreciate writer, like, you seem baffled at why they would be attracted to you. And I
yeah.
think I'm not at all. Like,
Well, I'm
and
not baffled at why. No.
we see this dynamic a lot, and
He's
like
a
you'll often see this
37-year-old man.
dynamic, right? Yeah, why is he with this 24-year-old chick? But like, I think also,
Oh.
he gets it.
Shutting him down.
Yeah.
It's
sorry.
because he's famous on social media.
Yeah,
He can still
yeah, he can get
Yeah,
anybody.
she's like,
24-year-old.
she's,
Chosen
that's
you.
what I was thinking. She's like, he could have anyone. I'm like, yeah, honey, you're it. Like, you're the anyone.
You're the
Like,
24-year-old. Yeah. The rest are 25 and a half. That's gross. No, but like, I mean, you see this dynamic in a lot of relationships, but I think there is a trope that there's the male-female dynamic where he kind of takes on the role of like guide, or like I'm further along than you. I want to show you things. I want to, and I
Nick can
enjoy your
attest.
youthful enthusiasm, and you're wide-eyed, and you have all this energy, and you're excited about everything and discovering everything, and you seem to value me knowing things. I love that he's humming Aladdin. Fucking yes.
I was like, is that a whole new world?
Sing it. Don't hum it. A whole new world. Don't you dare close
We
your
know how to
eyes.
derail Jim.
I
Start
can do
humming
the whole
Disney
fucking
songs.
thing. Let's go. Come on, Whitney. It's karaoke this shit.
It is.
Let's
It
show
is
them
an
how it's
entire
done.
song
You
sung
can
by a man
fantastic
telling a woman
point
he's
of
going to show her all
view.
the stuff, though.
Yeah.
It's a song about what you're talking about.
But no, like that is a dynamic writer. And so like there is a trope where, and I think that there are a lot of like men in that version of the relationship that are excited to like be that mentor. Like you were joking earlier, Nick, like you enjoy being the pretentious guy who knows it all.
Yeah, you were joking, right?
Yeah, that was a joke.
Yeah, totally joking.
We're just going to break for this entire song break. A whole new world.
I just like doing music beds. Yeah. Music bed kind of mood tonight.
Yeah, I am. Gosh, that age gap. Okay, let me start over.
She's 24 and he
37.
the other person is 37?
Yeah, the age gap itself doesn't bother me too much, but I have met with 20 to 24-year-old clients who are female. And let me tell you, one of the 20-year-olds I met with was telling me about this older guy, and I don't know, he's a little bit older. I've been talking to him, met him at work. Okay. And I'm like, she's going to say 30. Like, I'm thinking in my head. She said 24. When you are 20, 24 sounds
and
old.
Whitney slapped the shit out of her.
I was like, oh, this is a reality check.
I'll go to
for
jail
me.
for this.
Do you know how old I am? But no, I remember that was
Methuselah Whitney over here.
some insight. Peter's 4 years older than me, and when
That's
we met,
gross.
I know. Well, when we
Ew.
met in college, I was 19, and when
Right.
he told me he was 23, literally the first words out of my mouth was, "You're old."
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
sounds so old when
Yeah.
you're young. So,
no, the older you get, the less
yeah.
that window matters.
correct.
A 40-year-old dating a 50-year-old, you don't even blink.
No.
You don't care.
Yeah.
Nope.
Who cares? That's fine.
Or even at
Yeah, like a 17-year-old dating a 30-year-old.
yeah, we all wince.
Yes.
Like, oh,
I
no,
do.
don't do that. Yeah.
I do. No, my dad and stepmom are 13 years apart, but she was like 35 when they
Right.
got married. So that felt different.
Sure.
So I get the questioning, like, why does he like me, like a self-esteem thing, but like, is that
Right.
I don't know.
No, I think you're
Yeah.
barking up the right tree. They can't see your face, so I'm interpreting that for the audience. But your face is sort of
The
like
emoji
that
with
icky,
the-
like, ooh, yeah. I mean, are you
Whitney's
predatory?
face is saying, "Oh,
Yeah.
Oh.
Is my
Trust your gut.
me being naive, is that attractive to you because I don't
No.
know any better?
and like y'all said, it probably is.
There's a dynamic there.
I can show you the world."
I mean, why not? I would say, though, it says y'all clicked on so many different levels. It's been 5 months and y'all are talking. I mean, just play it by ear, play it slow.
Yeah.
I wouldn't jump into anything. It sounds like you're doing your own thing. I'm very much a believer in relationships. Like, you don't have to go on like this path of now we're talking and does that mean we're dating and are we
Right.
committed? Like, your relationship can be whatever you want it to be. If it's just we talk for 3 years, if y'all are both okay with that, that's
Yeah.
okay. Well, he does his thing and you grow up. Like,
You're touching something really smart here. This is good advice to a 24-year-old. Because a 24-year-old's like, oh my God, but what, should we be together? It's like,
Right.
hey, give it a fucking try. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Like, what would that mean? Nothing. That doesn't mean dick. What if we break up? Break up.
it's all good.
What if I develop feelings? Great.
That's okay too, right?
What if we go visit a place? Do that.
That sounds
It'll be
amazing.
fine. Don't
Yeah,
worry about it. You'll be all right.
exactly.
Like, what if I decide later I don't like him? Break up. He's 37. He can handle it.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
He's
Just
lived a
enjoy
whole
yourself.
life.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, you don't have to define it. You can just kind of see how things go, play it slow, unless he's financially well off. Then you need to
You
lock
want to
that
lock
down.
that in.
Lock
I
that
love
down.
Nick's financial.
Can he afford houses in the Las Vegas market?
Yes.
How
You
much
know?
is he making
Does
on
he-
famous
Does he have a
social
down
media?
payment?
Does he have farmland in
What's
the
his
Midwest?
liquidity? Oh,
That
Jesus.
A
Yeah, that's
centurion
that's
or
old
whatever.
oil money right
Century
there.
farm.
Getting a centurion.
I'm just online trying to figure out who this
A
person
biennial
is.
farm.
Because the only information I have is 35 or 34-year-old.
37.
Oh, 37. Shit.
Non-binary.
Yeah, non-binary social media.
famous.
I've got 37-year-old
Likes
non-binary
24-year-olds.
social media star.
Yeah, there
That's,
you go.
that's all I'm searching
Yeah.
for over
Okay.
here.
Type in 37-year-old
Put it on your big
likes
screen.
24-year-old.
Oh, let's
That's
see.
also very specific.
That's going to bring up different
Yeah, turn off
search
the safe
results.
search.
Yeah, turn off the blur. I want to see that.
Oh, I wonder if it's Jeffrey Marsh.
That's it. Sounds right. I think that's a car guy.
Stan's dad?
Media personality and author.
That's probably
37-year-old non-binary social media star Jeffrey Marsh.
That feels right. I'm sure that's the one.
Do we need to cut that out now? Because we just.
I mean, how right were you? Jesus.
I mean, all I did was Google 37-year-old non-binary social media
We just
star.
doxed the
That
writer.
can't be right.
I will
It
say
can't
this.
be that easy. Surely it can't be that easy.
The other day, I was at UNLV, and my birthday was in December, and my students were like, oh, yeah, happy birthday, Jim. I was like, oh, thanks. And one of them goes, oh, how old are you? And I'm like, oh, I'm 39, and make the customary joke of like, oh, I'm hanging in there, not quite the 40s yet, still 39. And just the shock on her face. And she was like, oh, my God, you are old, man. And I'm like, okay, first off, this is like
Fuck
borderline a little too much. Like
Yeah.
you don't have a lilt of joking in your voice. Like this is
No,
kind of a mean thing to say. And
Helped you into a nearby chair.
yeah, Jesus.
Give
And I'm
me your
like,
cane.
oh yeah,
I was
no,
thinking
I
about
know.
having sex with you.
That's out the window now. Now that you
Now
think
I
I'm
can't,
old.
I can't even consider it.
But I'm like, how old are you? She's like, yeah, 25. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I get it. You're 25. It's cool.
Those are a lot of the women that I work with.
Yeah.
Are early 20s.
Grandpa Jacob.
And
over
yeah, to watch them not even consider the possibility that I was ever sexually interesting to anyone.
I know that's the hard part about getting old.
Doesn't Chris Rock have a bit on this where he
I'm
meets
sure he
Rihanna?
does.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
She's
sure
like,
he does.
she did not register me as a sexual
No, he did.
being.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. No, I can describe to you precisely what that feeling is. Like, these are women that I'm not trying to have any kind of sexual contact
Right.
with.
Right,
Like,
but you
we're not,
sense it when it
Yeah,
happens.
that's it.
The
right.
fact that you
That's it.
are a
You
sexual
can just feel it.
ottoman.
And no feelings. You're
Their
like,
feet on you.
Yeah, I am
That's
as sexual to them as a chair.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. Just furniture.
That's it.
man.
Anyway,
yeah.
Ryder, I think we're all on the team
good
of this
time.
37-year-old dude. Okay, I think you know what. I'm pretty firmly on his side on this.
I think his name's Jeffrey.
he could teach you some things. He cares
Their name,
about
sorry.
you.
I keep
He
fucking
sounds like a nice
pronouns.
guy.
I like that Jim was
Right.
anti-girlfriend in the last one. This one, I'm like, fuck this guy.
Yeah.
And Jim's like, he's nice.
Yeah,
He sounds like
quick.
a great guy, Whitney, okay?
I-
All he wants to do is help. And you know what? He could get her some clicks. What if she's
Yeah.
trying to start a podcast?
Exactly.
Hey, also, depending upon how famous this guy is, could you pitch him our podcast? Like, that'd be really cool.
Just
Yeah.
tell him to skip
Oh,
this
yeah.
episode.
Not this episode. Hey, I'm on his team.
Unless
So
I guess who he
we can-
is, in
I
which
think we
case you
can-
should definitely play him this episode.
Look,
Yeah.
guys, marketing strategy meeting real quick. I think we take this dude's side and then he promotes
that
the show.
background music.
Okay? We can't afford not to have these. We need these bumps anytime we can get them.
I'm not above it.
Yeah, we'll take that.
That's
I know
fair.
I'm spiritually on his side anyway. Like, I'm not stretching. I want this guy to win. I think, fuck you. You
He
think you're
is
better than
winning.
me.
It looks like he is.
Sounds
doing
like he's
great.
winning.
Yeah.
Anyway,
they are winning. Shit.
size up his net worth and
I
marry him.
cannot do. I'm so bad at pronouns. I want to be good at them. I'm bad. At them.
Oh, yeah.
You'll
They.
get there, buddy.
Good point.
Just don't.
I'm
get
not.
there.
I'm not. I'm not going to get there. I think I'm just going to keep on being frustrated about it.
We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're talking about dealing with being average. You're listening to Pod Therapy.
Oh.
Today's episode is brought to you by Judy Schneider, Leanne Kassab, Carolyn Albert, Sammy Scoop, Sarah Smith, Mike Helm, Darren Cunningham, Matt and Lisa Tangeman, and Cody the DeLorean guy. Would you like to sponsor the show? Become a therapy producer. Patreon.com/therapy.
Oh, you didn't plug the Mental Fit Personal Challenge.
I did not.
Yeah, get that in there, baby.
Pod Therapy.
Oh,
Fitness
we're out of time.
Challenge 20
Oh, thanks for coming everybody today.
If you'd like to write into the show, write us anonymously.
.gov.
Son of a bitch. So close. Pod Therapy Fitness Challenge starting
Fitness challenge in your butt.
February 3rd. You got to pay extra for that.
Yeah.
That's not
And
part
it's
of the
going to be
original
smaller
plan.
too.
Can
The
you
butt's
put
going to be
that
smaller.
as part of the website, like underneath the pod, like whatever logo I imagine you made?
I will not.
Underneath it, just
I will not.
fitness challenge in your butt.
I will not.
in your butt.
This actually goes on my personal business website.
I'm
so
not here to
I'm not-
know. This is only going to promote this. thing.
Starts February 3rd. You can sign up at mentalfitpersonaltraining.com/podtherapy. It's $40 for 8 weeks of workouts. We're going to be doing 3 workouts a week.
Good deal.
You can do their body weight workouts, or you can do it with resistance bands, but you can do them in the comfort of your own home. You don't
right.
have to go to the gym.
Or the comfort of Nick's
Check it
home.
out.
Show up.
Fine.
Knock on the
The
door.
$40
We'll make it work.
basically
40
buys you access.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Show
A lot
up.
of
I
access.
paid my money. Work me
I
out.
paid my monies. Now I'm going to do some push-ups in your living room.
That's
Work
right.
me out.
Or
Okay.
some resistance. All right, trivia.
Whitney.
Oh, yes.
This one should be easy because it was part of the previous question, if you were paying attention.
Okay.
What is the name of the therapist played by Robin Williams in Good Will Hunting?
Shit.
Nope. None of us were paying attention.
Oh, boy.
All right, options.
Dr. Sean McGuire, Dr. Ben Sobel, Dr. Marvin Monroe, Dr. Harold Levinson.
I'll tell you right now, it's not Marvin Monroe. That's off of like a, I forget what bit that's off of, but that's off of like another bit.
Yeah, and I think
Okay.
Ben Sobel is the name
Maybe
of
even The Simpsons.
a captain in Band of
Oh.
Brothers.
It's not your fault. I know. It's not
Read
your fault.
What was
I know.
A,
Don't.
Sean?
Don't.
Don't fuck with me.
Blank.
Blank.
Yeah, I know his name now.
Don't
Yeah,
fuck with
thank
me.
you. Thank you for the quote, because now I got it. Now I got it.
Nailed it. Dr. Marvin
Fuck with
Monroe
me,
is the
man.
doctor on The Simpsons.
Son of a
Okay.
bitch stole my line.
What was A? Sean
McGuire.
McGuire, and what was the other one that they said it wasn't?
They said it wasn't Marvin Monroe.
Man, I really hope it's Marvin Monroe now.
I said I don't
great.
think it's Sobel because I remember that name in a movie about
Ben
war.
Sobel was the other one, and then Harold Levinson.
Jewish. That's probably it.
I'm gonna go with Sean.
You're right.
Nailed it.
That was my gut
Fuck
from
with
the
me,
first
Sean.
reading
Ben or Jim.
through. Whoever you
Thanks,
are.
though.
I was reading the Ben
you were.
Sobel thing.
Lil
Sure
Jimmy
you
Jobin.
were.
What groundbreaking therapy technique does Dr. Sidney Freeman often promote on MASH?
Ah, fuck.
The
If
show
only
that
you'd watch
you need
the
to watch.
I'm going to take options, and we're going to shoot the dart here.
Okay. Laugh therapy, exposure therapy, narrative therapy, hypnotherapy.
Oh, fuck. It's not narrative because narrative comes after MASH. Hypno was probably really comedically valuable at the time. Exposure could be good for some laughs. And I feel like laugh therapy would have been right on the nose. But then again, I remember there's a dude that like cross-dresses in the show, so maybe that's the bit. Is he's trying to make people laugh by dressing different?
No, he's trying to get kicked out of the army.
Yeah.
Oh, is that the bit?
Yeah.
Back when you were gay, you couldn't be in the army.
Oh,
Yeah.
so he's
So he's trying to convince his superiors that he's gay.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
And he's doing that by wearing dresses.
got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
And they won't kick him out.
Right.
All right, give me
Klinger.
That's it.
Right? Yep.
it's between exposure and what was the other one?
I would have guessed it.
Narrative, hypnotherapy, laugh therapy.
Narrative.
Oh, shit. Give me exposure. I'll bet that's good for some
I think it's
laughs.
exposure.
Yeah, that's my guess too.
But hypnotherapy is up there.
Laugh therapy.
It is laugh therapy.
It is laugh therapy.
Oh, that would have been my number 3 guess.
In the show Shrinking, Jacob, which I still haven't watched
I
yet.
haven't seen it
really
either.
want
You
to watch
watched it though.
I
right?
have watched
Yes.
it.
Oh.
In the show
I've watched
Shrinking,
some
It's very
episodes.
convenient. We haven't watched the new season yet.
Jason Segel plays a therapist who starts using what unconventional method with his clients?
Well, we had a
Options.
question about it last week, I think, with that therapist.
Direct
Setting them up with your cousin, calling their
he
employer.
He does let a patient move in with him at one point.
Boom.
Oh, there
Told
it
you.
is.
Like, bam.
direct advance and intervention in their lives, hypnosis,
I think it's that first one.
dream analysis, writing therapeutic letters.
Yeah, I think
That's
I think
A.
it's going to be the A.
It is.
Yeah.
Wow. So he just busts balls. Just comes right at
I
you.
mean, it's what. That's why I couldn't keep watching. I mean, I want to still finish
Yeah.
it, but it got kind of crazy. He's like showing up at their like kids' football games or
just
something. I don't know.
disruption.
But
Like-
it's not portrayed as a good thing.
Yeah, that's
okay.
fair.
Right.
Got it.
Yeah.
Like there are other therapists that he works with. He has
He's
like
at
a
a clinic.
supervisor that he's hiding some stuff from
okay.
at one point. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's not portrayed as
Yeah.
like an acceptable
It's not like
form
glorified.
of therapy.
Yeah.
Certainly not.
Well, good.
Okay, my question, Dr. Marvin Monroe, who is recruiting,
Well, I guess that was
who
a real
was
thing.
a reoccurring therapist on which long-running animated series?
Jacob.
I'm going to go 2 points and say The Simpsons.
Yeah. Or was I gaming you?
You definitely were not. And I got that, so good for me.
Well,
It.
Sorry, Emma. Kick Nick's question in the dick.
yep.
All right.
Fair.
I'm in first place. Dealing with being average. How do I deal with being very average?
Jim, did you write a
I
question?
did. How do I deal with being very average in every way? Because I'm a bad boy. There it is. Especially when I spent my early life being applauded for being smart and told I would do great things. I feel an underlying sense of stagnation, lack of accomplishment, and general averageness. I know that I am capable of a lot of things, but nothing seems to interest me more than doom scrolling the internet. And so I just feel boring and stupid and like I'm a waste of life because I'm not the best at anything. I want to be okay with living an average life, but I don't know how. I mean, I listen to this podcast every week. If that says anything about my level of intelligence,
Yikes.
thanks, Anonymous.
You've said
Jim, you want to tackle this one?
As an expert
No,
on
I-
being average.
I honestly felt like I could have written this. Like, this speaks
Go on,
exactly.
Nicholas.
This is, I was with you 100% until you said,
You listened to
especially when I spent my early life being applauded for being smart. You lost me there.
I don't really do
You
any of
lost me on
that.
that one.
Nick never got the applause.
Yeah, I did not get that. Yeah, but everything else is like, oh yeah,
Okay,
Totally.
dig into that. So the idea is like you feel underwhelmed, and that seems to be the note of the writer is like,
No, it's just
by
it's,
yourself?
It's a feeling of
You should be doing more better.
no, that there should be something I'm good at.
oh, okay, yeah,
But
Like
to be
golf.
average across the board on everything. It's
okay.
just kind of this feeling of like,
Jack of all,
have I
master of
not
none.
found my thing,
Jackie,
or
what now?
Yeah.
or what? So yeah,
Jack the King, I think is how that works.
I mean, I think, writer, that you need to look around you at all the people who seem very comfortable with this and realize the fact that you are more enlightened than they are. Because you, unlike them, you realize that you are average at these things.
Yeah,
We're all average at most things, and most of us are average at everything that we do.
That's what
most
average
of us,
means.
that's it.
yeah,
Like
Most
to
of us.
stand out, to be unusual, to be that kind of in parts of the bell curve.
Yeah.
That's the unusual thing.
right.
To be average is virtually everyone at all things at all times.
Yes,
Yeah, I mean, so I think in a weird way, you've kind of got your shit together better than most people just
Yeah.
because you realize that.
I think this is part of growing.
I know
up.
that doesn't help you at all,
Right.
but I do think it's
It's
interesting.
reassuring.
Yeah.
But I do think this is part of growing up because I do think that a lot of young people, and I think this is a characteristic we associate with youth,
Yeah.
is believing one is special. And if you were, blessed to grow up with a lot of people rooting for you, or you were like doing well in school or had some outstanding characteristic, or, your Uncle Rico and you were really good at football, like in high school or whatever, and you're like, I'm going to make it. And
I
everybody
gotta
thinks
throw
I'm
a
great.
football over that mountain.
I'm going to be the guy. And like, yeah, you start to believe that you could be exceptional or that you are an unusually interesting person or whatever. And I see a lot of youth, they try to get on the internet, they try to start a Twitch, they start, their social media, they start a podcast, and they're sure that this is going to be lightning in a bottle. Like everybody's going to get it.
Yeah.
And then they just realize like nobody clicks, nobody cares. And then they start to one by one kind of crash into the walls of realizing, no, you're not unusually interesting. You are good enough at a lot of things to get the job and start here. We're not going to promote you. It's not like a movie or a TV show. You're not the chosen one. And I think that's also like a part of it. Like every story is you're being selected, right? You're the special one. It's literally the template for storytelling. And I think as growing up is not identifying with that anymore.
Yeah.
And starting to identify with like the fucking side characters and like, yeah, that guy's just got a normal job and he seems to live a normal life and good for him. He owns a car. Like that's kind of cool.
Did y'all ever face some version of feeling like kind of a big fish in a small pond where, oh, look, I am above average. Like they were saying, it seems like they were told they were smart and all these things.
Right.
Like maybe they were an overachiever for where they started out, their elementary, middle, high school.
Probably. Yeah.
And then if they went to college or went out into the workforce from there, it can be a little, I don't know, underwhelming at how much we achieve, or kind of what you were
Right.
saying, Jim, how quickly we achieve things.
Right.
On top of just add in there what social media does to us nowadays, where we only see the outcome. You start watching a creator who has 87,000 views, like a
Right.
thing, and you're like, wow, they just did that. No, they've had like their YouTube channel
Right.
for 6 years,
Right.
or whatever, like 10
Right.
years, whatever.
They've been
And
working on it.
They've been working on it. They just show up and they do the average thing over
Yeah.
and over and over again
Yes.
until they hone their craft, and then people find them. Like it's kind of a formula. And so I think so many, I see this with a lot of young people, so many of them think, I don't know what I want to do. I hear that all the time too. I don't know what I want to do, who I am. And I'm like, part of that is growing up. That's part
Right.
of youth, is figuring that out. You shouldn't know who you are at 21.
Right.
Also, because you're going to change a bunch in the next decade and the one after
Yes.
that and all these things. It's an ever-going process, or an ongoing process. It's not just, I'm here, I've realized it, this is who I am for the rest of my
And
life.
kind of what you said, standing out in certain pools is not that impressive. Like you might have been the best singer in 4th grade.
Right.
And all the other kids were like, oh my God, let Whitney sing it. She has such a pretty voice. And like, you're like, wow, fuck, I'm the shit. And then you start like, it forms into your identity and you
Yeah.
believe like, I am exceptional at this. everybody says so. Like everybody in my family says I'm the best singer in the family. And it's like, yeah, they think you're the cutest little kid in the family.
Right.
And they just want you to fucking belt it out. Like,
Right.
it's great.
That's
They
adorable.
love it when you sing. Like,
What you're describing is the entire premise in how American Idol got started.
yes.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
you
Everybody
are describing
believing
the
they're
birth of
awesome.
American
That is
Idol.
so
Yes.
true.
And then you get out there and we see that no, you are not.
But no, you're
at
the
this
best singer
level.
in town.
I know
Yes.
some really
But there's
good
2,000
fucking-
people in town.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know really good singers who made it to certain levels of American Idol and still didn't make it on that TV show.
Right.
And they're amazing singers. I'm just like, damn, you're in a bigger pool, honey. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Well, and also
insane.
I think other people's talents may catch up. You know, like maybe
Right.
you blossomed in an area
That's
early.
it.
Like something that came to me as I was reading this when I was. You guys remember Dare? Did
Yeah.
you guys have Dare?
To keep kids off drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we
great at that.
Oh my god!
You didn't
Just
have Dare?
Quick side point: we did not. We were too small for Dare.
Wow. Oh,
But
okay.
there was a church in town that recruited some of the kind of popular kids because they wanted to start. Their heart was in the good place, but they wanted to start like this
chest.
mentoring program,
Oh, okay.
and it was like teaching assistants or something like that.
Uh-huh.
And they had these shirts made that were like Superman shirts with like the shield,
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
and it said TA on it.
Nice. Yes.
There was one of our substitute teachers that came
Right.
in and saw that, and he was like,
TNA.
He's like, I can't take this seriously. This is just tits and ass. This is what you guys are doing.
ass and titties.
This is a trap. These hot teenagers.
This is a
TNA.
trap.
I'm good. So, but
Not gonna get me again.
Not gonna get me a fifth time.
Okay, come here.
you see, you're worth it. So, like in our DARE program, a cop comes to the school or whatever, and the cop, for whatever reason, so like at that age, 4th and 5th grade, I think, I was a pretty outspoken kid, fine, but like, yeah, I know, there it is, but like my powers of speech at that age were probably quite a bit above my peers. Like I had more confidence in my peers. I was very comfortable in front of the room. My dad worked in sales and he was training me to sell pencils since I was 5 years old.
Your
Like he would teach
Faja?
me, yes, my Faja, my real Faja. He'd teach me like sales
far as you know.
drills. So like I was a good communicator at a really young age. So at that age, this police officer that was running our DARE program was like impressed by me.
Yeah.
So much so that when we had a school assembly to like wrap up DARE, the whole school comes, like the 5th graders get to go up and be acknowledged and honored.
Jim, I want you to do a rap.
No, yeah, fucking listen to this. So here I am, this little like kid, 5th grade, trying to be like,
I'm Jim Jobin,
this
and I'm
kiss
here to
ass.
say.
Yeah. So I'm sitting here trying to be like,
Oh, man.
look at me, kid.
I really want to take Jim's lunch money right now.
Yeah, no, it's as dumb as it sounds. So like we're having this huge school assembly and like, the 5th graders about to be honored. And I remember growing up every year, 2nd, 3rd, 4th grade, the 5th graders getting to do DARE was the coolest. And like, they get to have the big assembly and they like get
out of
honored. And
class.
the police officer comes and gives them a sticker or some bullshit. And like every kid in the school thought that was the fucking coolest thing. And so the cop gets up and she says, before we begin today, we're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. And I would like one student to get up and lead us in the pledge. A student who I believe with all my heart is going to be the president of the United States one day. Jimmy Jobin, please stand up. This letter,
There it
every
is. There's the booing.
moment
Yes.
of my life,
Yes.
from 5th grade,
See how good booing
DARE
is?
It's very good.
has
It's very
been
good.
downhill. That was my best fucking moment. I peaked.
If someone
he had
had
a suit
booed
on.
him at the time, his
Yes.
life would be better for him.
I want to put that shit on a resume today and say, like, look, I was going to be somebody. I was going to be the next president. A police officer said so. when I was
Officer
in
Johnson
5th
believed
grade.
in me.
Yeah. So there it is.
Gather
There
round,
it is.
kids.
Gotta get
It's
that
now
in there.
time for Dr. Jim Jobin's latest Tale of Woe.
It's all been downhill ever since 5th grade.
Well, president's pretty
I was
high
an
up,
impressionable
so-
little kid. Other people learned how to do drugs in DARE. I thought I was going to be the president, okay? A
gotta get
police
yourself-
officer said it.
You got to get yourself a reality show.
I was the boss of that
Yeah.
fucking school. So cool. So anyway, My life has not turned out the way I thought it would.
I mean, according
It
to the
is
current
all been a
presidents, you
fucking-
still have like 60 years left in you to
That's
still
true.
be
There's a chance.
president.
True.
You're too young.
It's true. I'm
still.
way too young.
Yeah.
So maybe the
You gotta be at
prophecy
least in your
will come to
mid-80s.
pass. But yeah, so like
He's already a
I
white
get it,
man,
writer.
so
And if,
halfway there.
Yeah.
if you grew up being celebrated as the best singer in fucking your little town, or the kid in 4th grade that spoke the best in that class, and so like the police officer thought you were going to be president one day, or just wanted to celebrate it, whatever it is, then everybody else ages up to you, right? And they all catch up to you. And then you get into high school and you get into college, and yeah, like everybody can give talks to the class. Like there's a whole law school of people that are really fucking good in front of a jury. Like you're not unique. You're not better than them at anything. But like you still have that delusion of grandeur that was given you at a really young age.
Yeah.
And I think that is tricky.
Yeah.
And like I've really struggled with that. Like raising my kids, I try to reinforce them. I try to like celebrate their strengths and
Every
like
now and then you should
magnify
boo
that.
them.
Boo them occasionally.
Toughens them
but
up.
like I try not to overdo it to the point where like you're telling them things like that. Like you're destined for greatness. I believe in you. And like you can push
I
it too
sincerely
far.
believe that you are the Messiah.
You are the chosen one.
The next president.
And you have to be really careful about that shit, because
yeah.
letters like this, then you can have
Yeah.
a perfectly
'Cause-
good life, but feel
yeah.
like you didn't measure up.
And because anytime you really get to a point where you start believing that you are really special,
Yeah.
the world has a way of letting you know that you're not.
Yeah.
You know, like I remember in high school, small town Iowa, like our football program was huge. Like
Okay.
they were going to
No.
state every year,
Oh, cool.
just dominating, and shit. And they would win state. And these guys, town of 2,000 people, they were
Gods.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They could do no wrong.
So they're
the
like
entire town.
1A football team.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like grown men looking up to these high
Yeah.
school
Yeah.
kids.
Right.
Well,
It's just
son.
the most disgusting thing
Wearing
ever,
their
you know?
number.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And then
Getting them beer at the
Yeah.
convenience store.
Yeah. Oh,
you know.
absolutely.
but the fucking funniest thing was when they went to college.
Oh.
The
Yeah.
first fucking day in college when they realized
Smushed by a
no
grown
one,
man.
No one gives a shit
Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
how you
Nope.
did.
Nope.
They're gonna hit you
means
all the.
you're like
You got to
going
start from the
that-
bottom.
Yeah, going
And
from the
earn
very top to like, everything
delusion
you've
of
worked
grandeur.
hard for means nothing.
To me, it's like the child star problem. Like you
Yeah.
peak too early, and then like nothing will ever measure up to the fame that you once had. And like a lot of the child stars end up having terrible lives, and like you think Jesus, or like the lotto winner, right? Like you get too great too fast. Nothing else will ever measure up to that again. It's like discovering drugs at a young age. So for the writer, I hear that in the letter because I'm hearing this language of like, man, I was really celebrated at a younger age and people thought I was something special.
Or like gifted and talented programs.
Right, gifted and
You see
talented
this.
programs. Those are
Yeah.
very interesting. Like I like the idea of challenging kids and moving them along. I've never cared for the title of it.
No.
Because like if you're not in it, then like
It's fucked up.
gifted and talented
Yeah.
over here,
Yes.
ungifted and untalented.
I've never been
Rest of you,
comfortable
go
with
over
that
here.
language, or like
I don't
even
know.
when your kids
I was-
are in it. It's like I
Yeah.
don't want this to be the way we
The
talk
teacher
about
who
this.
who did the gifted and talented classes in my elementary school made everyone just refer to it as GT.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that.
She would
That's
not
fine.
let them refer to it. Like the students who were in the program, the students who were not in the program, whatever. Like
That
everyone
helps.
referred to it as
That
GT.
helps, Yeah.
Yeah,
Like even back in the 80s, like she recognized that back then.
obvious.
And it was like, yeah, you should call this one
Obvious.
child gifted
I don't
in front
like
of
it.
20 other children.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think
You're
you can really do
exceptional.
harm. So, writer, I get that idea. Like, I peaked in 5th grade and, had my moment in the sun. Everything tastes like ash in my mouth now. There is no greatness, I like
my
my kids.
gosh.
They're fine. They're not as great as that day that the cop said that I was the best in the fucking 5th grade.
Yeah.
if we in the future ever do anything at Scoop Fest and you have to introduce us,
If you pause to have the Pledge of Allegiance
small,
recited,
a small favor.
And I just
I have a
want
small favor. I'd like
a
that.
man who I believe
Take
Who I
notes.
firmly believe.
gonna be the president of the United States.
Little Jimmy
2050.
Jobin.
I mean, you'll have to pull me aside and remind me, but yes.
We're gonna open up Scoop Fest with a Pledge of Allegiance.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna walk up there with my Dare sticker.
This
Like a
man
lion
used to
on my
be a
chest.
doctor, for God's sake.
How far he has fallen.
I mean, I empathize with this writer a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up.
Oh,
I
yeah,
was
you were
the,
in like theater and
I was
stuff,
the
right?
I was the kid. Like I was doing the commercials and the shows and doing all the stuff.
Yeah.
And like when I go back to my hometown, still, I will see people that I haven't seen since I was a child every now and then, and they'll ask me what I'm up to. And specifically, they'll ask me like, "Oh, do you do like you in theater? Are you in movies?
Right.
What do you do?" And I say, "Oh, well, I work in entertainment. I work in Las Vegas. I run shows in Las Vegas. I do some podcasting there. I kind of talk about that. I like my life a lot. I
Right. tell
tell them this as you're like this. These are all good things. I'm happy with them, and like often, this is not an irregular occurrence that they will look at me with disappointment.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh.
Of like, we all thought that you would just be on stage
You're
forever.
the chosen one, though.
Jesus.
I was like, yeah, no, I was like okay for that as a
For a
kid,
while, yeah.
and like whatever. But yeah, that's not
I'm not the same person.
that's not what my life did. And like, I just told you that I
I'm
like
happy.
things, that I'm happy
Yeah.
about this. Like, I
That's
don't
too
care
bad.
what you do for a
It's
living.
too bad you're
Yeah.
happy, Jacob.
Why would you care what I do for a living if I don't care what you do for a
I
living?
get that you're disappointed, but did you not hear me say I'm on Pod Therapy?
Yeah, you got to lead with that.
Yeah,
You're
I
burying
might have
that.
buried that lead.
Don't just say some podcasts. Explain that you are on the 45th best podcast in mental health on Good Pods.
I should jump to explaining about the second biggest podcast that I'm on.
What's the first one?
In fairness, ICS isn't even ranked in mental health on Good Pods. Okay,
Right,
we're blowing them out of the fucking water.
Don't give him any ideas.
Oh, I know. Oh shit! I'm so sorry. No. I immediately take it back.
By the
I'm so
time
sorry.
this is out, we're on there.
and they will make it 43rd and stop. The scoops will be like, park it right there.
You said it's called Good Pods?
Fuck! That was our trophy. So, what advice for accepting one's life, which we've all had to do? Everybody does. It's something you go through and you realize, okay, I no longer have. I mean, you still have aspirations. I think you can still have that, but you also kind of accept. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be rich one day. I'm not going to be famous one day. I'm still holding out for the president of DARE.
There's a chance.
I
You're
think-
saying there's a chance.
I mean, I feel like that's attainable.
Yeah.
For me, I think it helps to just understand, and this is going to sound bad, and I don't mean it. It's going to sound depressing. I don't mean it to sound depressing, but understand how small I am in the universe.
Okay. Yeah.
And just
good
kind of
starting
like
place.
literally, it's just like I am one primate out of 8 billion, or more than that,
Mm-hmm.
on one speck of dust in an endless galaxy.
Right.
Endless universe. That's kind of where I'm at, and I'm doing all right.
Right.
I need to be grateful for the things that I have.
That's everything.
And yes, and I think about this often, like especially when I get frustrated with golf. Like I know it sounds silly, but like
No, this is a good example.
I get really angry and frustrated. Like I should be better. As hard as I work, there's no reason why I shouldn't be better than I am. But then I kind of realize, like, okay, but I could get into a car accident tomorrow and lose one of my arms.
Yep.
Sure.
Or I could do something like that and then just like be paralyzed, or like all these different things and never be able to do it ever again.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's hard to think about that stuff, when you're just frustrated. So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, the kind of gratitude route is definitely one of the directions that I was going to head down. But almost in addition to gratitude is sort of being mindful and present in that why are you doing the activity you're doing? So the writer didn't say this, and I'm going to jump to what the writer said. But for example, if it's like golf, you're out there playing golf. Why are you playing golf? Like, to be the best. Why? Are you wanting like praise? Are you wanting to show other people I'm better? Is it just for yourself? Like, do you just go out there to beat your next score? Like, what's the end goal? What's like the best score you're going to get or whatever? And golf's kind of fucked up because it's like gambling, because that damn ball and club don't ever hit the same way.
Right.
Like, little fucker.
Your margin for error is like minuscule.
Yeah, exactly.
And even the best are going to fuck up constantly.
Right. The best players in the world have days where they're just like,
I mean, it's
what?
There's and I think this is a really good way to look at this. If you've ever seen the movie Bagger Vance,
Oh, love it.
a great movie, but he kind of uses the expression or the saying like, golf is a game that can never be won, only played.
Yes.
You know, and it's like you're not judged by how good you are, you're judged by how not bad you are.
Right.
So it's not like the winner isn't the person who's like playing amazing, it's usually the person who just doesn't fuck up as much.
Right.
Yeah.
So like if you're learning to, or like you play guitar and maybe you were a really good guitar player like in high school, like no one else played guitar, I'm playing acoustic guitar if you're in your writer, if you happen to be in your like mid 30s to mid 40s.
If you were part of a youth group.
Yeah, lots of acoustic guitars in there. And that was impressive, but as you get older, you're like, oh, but there are, you know, amazing musicians out there. Right. What am I doing? Why am I playing this guitar? And it's like, yeah, why are you? Are you doing it because you enjoy playing the guitar, and that takes looking internally and sitting with that, or like recognizing that emotion? Yeah. Or is it, I was only doing that to, impress others, to make a point outward for that outward validation rather than inward? Now, going to what the writer said, they're saying like, I just find myself doom scrolling. And to me, it could be some avoidance there. If I'm not going to be good at anything, look, I'm not even trying. I see this, oh gosh, with like friends, even sometimes friends of friends, whatever, where they were told when they were young, oh my gosh, you're so good at ABC, you're so smart, you're going to do all these things, you're so good at video games, you should start a Twitch stream, whatever. And they just won't. And you're like, why? And the fear of failure is so strong because you've been told you're so good your whole life.
Live up to the hype.
Yeah, you're not going to live up to it. What if I fail? And like, I know we all deal with fear of failure, absolutely, but it's like to this stronghold.
See, this relates to me again. This
Come to my office.
This is turning into my session.
Well, this is why I don't play golf. I'm scared I'll be too good at it. You know,
That's
and
fair.
like
That's
I just don't want to live that life.
This is exactly my hesitation with starting a mental fit Instagram.
Yeah.
Okay.
I hear that.
You sure it's not that you don't know how to use Instagram?
No.
I'm pretty sure that's a big
I know how to use. I know enough. I know enough to be able to do it.
On Instagram.
Post something on our Instagram.
He posted Paris stuff.
I don't want to. But no, but it's
I'm
not.
very happy.
Not,
I'm on good pods now. I'm very happy.
I knew he was doing this because it got quiet.
Where are you? He's like a toddler.
Yeah, like we mentioned one thing and then you don't hear from him for 5 fucking minutes. Like, of course he's doing something.
Yeah.
I am really happy that it has Ice Cream Social seasons correct on here. It has our season 1 and season 2. Season 2 starting with episode 1001.
I love it. That's good.
We said our first season was the first 1,000 episodes.
So
and now we're number 45 on the mental health.
My hesitation is not necessarily that I feel like I'm going to fuck up, but just I read comment sections on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. That is the worst of the worst of society.
They're not
and
great.
that is the reason. That is the
Worse
only.
than Twitter?
That is the only reason I haven't done it yet. Is because I don't want to have to deal with that shit.
Yeah.
Because the moment you put something out, especially if it has to do with fitness or health, the moment you say anything, you're going to have 5,000 people jump on that and say, you're a fucking idiot. You don't know what you're doing. And it's like, I just don't want to deal with that shit.
My mom does a lot of volunteer stuff. And a couple of years ago, she was taking part in a thing in her hometown, or in where she lives, and about not doing big group balloon releases anymore. Pretty innocuous topic.
Yeah.
But you know, she like volunteers at a wildlife refuge and does all this kind of stuff. And so this is something that she is passionate about. She wanted to do some work on this, and so she was working on that. And she posted something like on her personal Facebook page. You know, hey, we're doing this, and we're gonna see if we can't get people to stop releasing balloons as groups. I don't even think it was like a law or anything. I think it was just, you know,
public awareness.
That's it. Just an awareness campaign.
Don't do this. It hurts the environment.
Yeah.
And like apparently strangers started posting comments on this thing, just telling her that she was an old psycho bitch, go kill yourself.
Oh my God.
Like, all this stuff. And she's telling me about this. And she's like, I don't know how to respond to these things. But like, Mom,
Don't.
You can't respond.
No.
Don't ever do that.
I think you can delete comments.
Yeah.
Just do that.
Like fucking block people, delete them. Don't respond to anything.
Absolutely not.
I mean, I got some pushback on that as well, because I had a similar post about the balloons, and then I also put "and free the January 6th prisoners." But, but it was mostly about the balloons.
Yeah, hold the balloons, release the prisoners. J6 gang.
That's it.
Hashtag I'm with him.
And the hate and vitriol I got.
People are ignorant, Nick. You just can't.
Can't talk about balloons.
No, the last.
Case.
I guess the last thing I was just going to say for recommendation is you said I just feel boring and stupid, like I'm a waste of life because I'm not the best at anything. Ugh, and that's sad to hear. I hate hearing that. But I get it, that it's like a spiral loop. The longer you sit there and don't do anything, the worse you feel about yourself, and the worse you feel about yourself, the longer you sit there and like doom scroll or whatever. It's just like a never-ending cycle. I would say push yourself to do something new that's like you'll be bad at. Or like painting. If you've never painted before, it's kind of like exposure therapy, I guess.
Yeah.
You're kind of like, hey,
Do it
let me
bottomless.
just.
I mean, it worked for George W. He got really. Seriously,
Wait, that guy was also a president? The artist?
the artist,
No.
yeah, believe it or not.
Shut up.
But he
One
was
day
terrible.
a DARE officer told him,
Son, someday you'll be a painter.
But yeah, so I like trying something so outside the box where kind of there's not I guess I should say not something you're terrible at, but there's no expectation.
Right.
Something new to you. There's no expectation. You're just doing it, and pay attention to how you feel, and get a sense of accomplishing something. Like I don't care if it's knitting a little animal; those come with instructions. I think if you're crocheting, that's the whole thing. I bought one of those
That's
for my
pretty
niece.
hard. If you can crochet, you are the
My
best at
9-year-old
life.
niece is baller at it, so it can't be that hard.
Laura got a paint by numbers kit.
Yeah, I
And,
want to
like,
get.
I want to get one too.
Okay, talking about Instagram things, that is the one thing I want to buy off Instagram.
adult
I
paint
just
by
saw
numbers
today.
was huge a few years ago.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah,
the
I kind of
pandemic.
want to get into it.
yeah. Do that. I
They
don't
sell them
care.
at Michael's. I just saw them the other day.
I mean,
Yeah,
there
that's where
is-
Laura got it.
I just saw someone fairly recently talking online about this, about doing things for the experience and not doing things to be good at them.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like exercise is a great example. Just go out. If you want to go out and run for your health, go out and run for your health. You don't need to be the best runner on your block or whatever. Just like go out and do that. If you want to paint. If you want to write something. But yeah, these things, this thought process that we have, and I think that our society is kind of inundated with this.
Yeah.
We have to be good at it. If you're not good at it, then why are you even doing it?
Right.
And I was like, well, because it's
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah,
Just
because
for
I
the
want
joy
to.
of
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
It's like when
Like-
you'd go out as a kid and play, a softball game with your friends. None of you were professional softball players.
Yeah.
But it's fun. It's fun to
Yeah.
go out and play softball with your friends. So
Or,
why
like,
not?
All the stuff you cook, Jacob, at your house. Like, yeah, you could go buy a steak. I'm sure y'all could afford to go buy a steak
Sure.
if you wanted a steak, but you enjoy cooking it. And I'm sure they're delicious steaks, but there are more delicious steaks out there.
Yep.
It's like, fine. It's just.
Well,
That's
and
a
I
little
think-
hurtful, Whitney, but I'll take
No,
your point.
you better take it.
This
my backhanded.
This is the
compliment.
exact
not
philosophy that the Minnesota Vikings, I think, have adopted. It's like it's not about
Who?
winning.
It's not about
It's
winning.
not about winning.
That's not important to.
It's
No,
not about being the
it's-
best.
It's really not.
No.
Being a Viking, just hooting,
Just
and
go
hollering.
out there with your little
experience.
horns.
Yeah,
Blow your
running
little
and
horn.
jumping.
You've got a fun
Little horn
purple
hat.
shirt
Roll on
on
the
with numbers on
grounds.
it,
Yeah.
and your
Yeah.
name's on the back of it. That's cool.
People are having a hot dog and drinking a beer,
Just having fun. Just out with your
America.
friends playing.
Yeah.
singing
Playing.
songs.
For a lot
and you
of money.
get to be
For a lot
so
of money.
close to really successful professional
Oh,
athletes.
That's
That's
a
fun.
bonus. Yeah.
Sometimes you even touch them.
Yeah.
You know, that's pretty cool.
Sometimes
hard.
they hit you.
Yeah. Then there's pictures of it.
Yeah.
You know, you'd be like, hey, that guy, he won a ring.
Yeah.
He
No,
hit
it's
me.
Be like the Minnesota Vikings.
That's
Don't
it.
don't
Yep.
make success a priority.
I think that's it.
Overrated.
Yeah, the Minnesota Vikings are like Diogenes, just like, I
What's that
don't
word
need
mean?
anything. Oh, the guy that was Alexander the Great asked him what he would like, and he said for him to get out of his son, like, as he just didn't want anything in the world. Diogenes, the guy that lived on the streets in ancient Rome, or ancient Greece.
Okay.
He said, having the least wants, I am nearest to the gods.
Oh. Okay. Like
He probably
Buddha?
said it in Greek, though.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Buddha?
Yeah, it's basically Buddhism.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just
I'm like,
there
like
you
Buddha?
go. Just do that. Never mind. Let's
Okay.
switch it up.
I like
the
that.
Vikings are the Buddhists of the football league. Yeah, all suffering is caused by desire, so we want nothing. We're just out here to throw the ball around. It's a
Yeah.
good
Yep.
time.
Having a good
Anyway.
old time.
Be the Vikings. You'll be fine. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to wrap up the show. You're listening to
Wrap it up.
Pod Therapy.
Today's episode is brought to you by Judy Schneider, Leanne Kassab, Carolyn Albert, Sammy Scoop, Sarah Smith, Mike Helm, Darren Cunningham, Matt and Lisa Tangeman, and Cody the DeLorean Guy. And if you would like to sponsor the show, become a therapy producer. Patreon.com/therapy.
As we wrap up the show, we want to remind you that you can sign up at patreon.com/therapy, and we'll get you that extended show ad-free a day earlier, as well as enjoy our live chat Discord community and our weekly deep dives, interviews, skill shares, research roundups, and rants. And somebody recently was writing some questions about how the Patreon works. And just a reminder, if you're out there and you're like, well, I don't want to listen through Patreon, I have my favorite app. Great. Whenever you make your little account and you sign up, it gives you an RSS code. You copy it, drop it right into your app. I guarantee you your podcast app, no matter what it is, has a little thingy. Go into the settings in your app on your phone. It'll say drop a custom RSS feed. Drop that in there. Everything we make goes straight into the same app you're using right now, except now you get the full episode uncut a day earlier, and you get our Monday stuff. So do that, patreon.com/therapy. Sign up at the $5 level or higher. You'll be supporting a mental health podcast unlike any other in the world. Some say the best in the world.
I know people.
Some say the 45th best on one website.
I know people who.
Oh, you used to be 45?
Shit!
I know people who Patreon this show who don't even listen to the full show. They only
Ben?
listen to the
Yeah.
Patreon content.
Oh, okay.
No, Ben doesn't listen at all. But other people.
Many are
people.
Many, yeah.
But speaking of which, we are recording this in the past because Jim has a camping trip. So
We
if
record
you,
all of them in the past.
We do. But if you have supported us after Monday, January 13th, we will hit you on the next episode. But as of today, we've got somebody to thank.
We
Who's
got
new?
one new Therapod.
Woo!
Welcome, Sam. Welcome to the show.
Welcome, Sam, I am. And of course, all praise and blessings be to the local theity of Pod Therapy, the Dark Lord himself, Jim Fascia. And of course, we'd like to thank the benevolent, revered, and generous, flagrantly pro-therapy diehards who love you all so much. They give till it hurts, the Therapartners, and our bosses, the mysterious and shrouded Illuminati members of the fan club, the Theraproducers. Thank you, Jake Schneider, Myra, Robert Brownie, Junior, nailed it. Smitty Scoop, Ben Dawn, Judy Schneider, Kayla Lansbury, Malia, Leon Kassab, whose name I say.
I think it's Kassab.
It's not. It's just.
Leon, you're saying your name wrong.
Yeah. Oh, well, that could be.
Cut it
possible.
out, Leon.
Mason Miller, Richard fucking Macy, Carolyn Albert, Kevin Chamberlain, Tess Miller, Sammy Scoop, Ben Stanley, Slap in Your Face, Sarah Smith, Adam Hathaway, Byler T, Mike Helm, Paris, Darren Cunningham, Lib, Team Monaco, Thunder Cougar, Falcon Scoop, Matt and Lisa Tangeman, Heyo, Oscar Swanrose, A Sunny Boy, Slurpy Kai, Motherfucker, Sandra McWaffle, Dan Martin, Hannah Marie, Andrew Langmead, Emma Kane, Alina, Cody the DeLorean Guy, and Sam Cohn.
And if you'd like to do this episode uncut and unedited,
And why wouldn't you?
Pew Pew, Texas.
I just wanted to hear Jacob's voice.
oh, all right.
Sultry,
And enjoy our
soothing
spontaneous side projects. Go to patreon.com/therapy. And thank you for supporting mental health.
That's all the time we get for this week's session. We want to thank our landlords and perhaps one of the other best mental health podcasts on good pods, Matt and Mattingly's Ice Cream Social. And thanks to those of you who contributed to our show today. We really appreciate it. Hey, remember, Pod Therapy isn't something to keep all to yourself. Share it with the world. Tag us on the socials when you do. You can find us at PodTherapyGuys on Instagram, Threads, and Twitter, /PodTherapy on Facebook. We're on Blue Sky somewhere too. And don't forget about all the extra goodies at patreon.com/therapy.
Do you want to submit a question to the show? You can ask anonymously at podtherapy.net, email us at podtherapyguys@gmail.com, or clicking the link in the episode description to be taken to our anonymous Google form. I'm Nick Tangeman.
I'm Whitney.
I'm Jim.
Thanks, and we'll see you for your appointment next week. That was a fine show. It was all right.
It was average.
5 out of 10.
That's all I'm aiming for, man.
Pretty good.
Whitney, you could have brought it a little bit more, I think.
Yeah, we should
was
start
proud
doing
of that
post-game
one.
debriefs.
I know.
Talk about it.
That's the end of the
Question 2
episode.
was weak.
All right, come on.
Fucking research shit.
Post-game
Post-game
analysis.
interview. We do coaches commentary. Oh, that would be great. We take questions from the audience.
Jacob could have used. We could have used a little bit more kazoo.
Yeah, the kazoo.
Yeah.
Jacob.
He's making up for it now.
Yeah. So
What song is he playing? Oh, Aladdin.
the same song.
Yeah.
I thought it was Take a Look.
It's in a book. That's what I thought it was.
For a second.
Reading Rainbow. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.